Hi everyone, today we've got a session for those who might be in their first trimester who are feeling a little bit average. You still want to move and strengthen and stabilise, but you don't feel highly energised, so this is perfect for those. It's also great for our beginner and intermediate participants. No props needed, just you, and we're going to start down our mat. So let's take a lie down onto our back. So making your way down onto your backside, let's keep those knees bent and then slowly rolling yourself all the way down. All right, so just lengthening that neck out nice and long, just take that head side to side, then tuck your chin slightly. So finding some comfort on the mat there. Knees are parallel as are your feet, and let's just take your hands either side of your pelvis. Okay, so we're gonna begin with some nice simple pelvic tilts. So start by imprinting, fully flattening your lower back into the mat, and then gently tip your pelvis forward, create space between your back and the mat. Let's just continue to alternate between those two positions there, rocking forward and back. Now there's no need to excessively strain while you go through those movements here. Just think about the bones of the pelvis and that lower back, gently rocking back and forward. So your belly is relaxed, as is your backside, your pelvic floor. Let's go for 3 more here, starting to really exaggerate that movement, fully flattening and really arching. 2 more. Last one. Okay, so from here we're going to maintain that nice neutral pelvis, just relaxing those shoulders into the mat. Now bringing your focus to your right knee. We're going to fold that knee out to the side, just a few inches, nothing else changes, and then draw that knee all the way back up through center. Then let's take it to the left side. Left knee folds out to the side, and then draw it all the way back in. Now alternating that knee fold. As the knee folds out, you roll to the outer border of your foot, and then bringing that foot back to flat as you return to center. Now we all look a little different here as we come into those knee folds. You only open your leg as far as you can without the opposite side moving or your pelvis rocking from side to side. So essentially we're just spiraling that hip in its socket, and it is your deep abdominals that will already be working to stabilize your pelvis. So if you just think about maintaining that form, those abdominals are going to work nicely. We want to start thinking about incorporating that breath. We inhale as we open the knee, and then we exhale as we draw it back up through center. Starting to feel some warmth in those inner thighs, which help to bring that knee back to the midline. Now continuing here, once you feel like you've found that form, found that control, maybe let's reach those arms up to the ceiling so your palms are facing in. Energy through those fingertips, through those elbows. Continuing to alternate those knees, we're going to add the opposite arm. So as you open left knee to the side, your right arm opens to the right. You then bring limbs to center and take it to the other side. Now obviously your arm is going to travel a lot further than your knee does. Don't let it be too much of a distraction so you lose the control around your lower body, okay? Inhale as you open the limbs, and then exhale to close them back together. Now you probably will be starting to feel some warmth in those lower abdominals, so those muscles that lie in between your hip bones should feel reasonably taut, but you're not bracing like crazy, so we're still allowing that breath to expand your chest and depress as you exhale. Let's go for 4 more here. And 3. Relaxing that jaw, relaxing that forehead. Let's go for 2. Last one, bringing those limbs all the way back up through center and meeting there. Now we're going to bring those fingertips back down either side of your pelvis, elbows rest gently on the mat. Pelvis stays nice and steady again. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to float your right leg up to a tabletop, so you have your knee over your hip, 90-degree bend maintained. You then lower that foot back down, inhale, and then let's exhale, take left leg to tabletop, knee over your hip, and then inhale to lower it down. So nice and simple, we're alternating our leg float, like a little march through those legs. And it's really important here, don't just go through the motions. Try not to throw your limbs into the air and then plonk them heavy into the mat. Let's move with control. And you'll find that you'll have to work pretty hard to stabilize your pelvis here. Really effective. Exhaling to lift, inhaling to lower. Now as I layer our abdominal series here, remember, every progression is just an option, so you can always come back to where you were previously if you find it gets a little too much. Otherwise, if you're ready to progress, next time you have a leg in tabletop, let's meet there. Non-moving side stays still. We're then gonna reach that leg long, stretch the toe, stretch the knee, find tabletop, bend the knee over your hip, and then replace that foot to the floor. So we float to tabletop, pause. Find extension, reach the leg away, bend the knee back, and then lower it back down. So continue to alternate there, just bringing that thigh into play as you reach away. Moving with purpose. So it's like you're reaching for a target, just beyond reach with those toes as you lengthen. Now feel free to keep those hands as they are, otherwise more challenge. Reach those arms up to the ceiling. So you're just reducing that base of support there, really honing in on that lower body. Exhale, lift, take a reach, draw it back in. And if you get confused with the breathing, just breathe. It doesn't really matter when you do, as long as you continue to breathe here. Try not to breath hold. Float and extend. We have 2 more here. Last one, float, reach, draw back in and replace that foot back down. Excellent. Now from here, keeping your right leg nice and still, we're gonna float that left leg to a tabletop and just meet there. Now, keep your right side heavy into the mat. We're gonna open that left knee, shin and ankle out to the left and then draw the leg all the way back up. Staying on that side, we open and close. So similarly to when we had our foot grounded, but this time you're taking the whole shape, so not just your knee. So you won't find it goes particularly far, and you might need to lower your arms back down to the floor, which is fine. Right knee points directly to the ceiling, so try not to let it move in the opposite direction. Let's go 4 more here. Inner thigh works to pull the leg in. And 3. Working a little harder to stabilize as that left leg moves away. Last 2. Last one, draw the leg through center. Let's replace that left foot. Knee stays still on the left as you float right leg tabletop. Knee, shin and ankle now opens out to the right and then draw the leg back to the midline. You'll feel different one side versus the other. So I'm a little stronger on my left side, so I feel a bit more stable here. So I can take my right leg a little bit further. So just be guided by where your pelvis is on the mat. 5 here. Inhale and exhale. Last 2. Last one, we draw the leg back to center, replace the foot back to the floor. Now we're gonna bring those hands back down either side of your pelvis. Just take a few rocks forward and back if you need to, just to come back and settle in that neutral spine. Okay, when you're ready, pelvis nice and steady, inhale. As you exhale, left leg finds tabletop. Then this time, we're gonna float your right leg to meet it. So we're in that double tabletop position. Just checking with your lower back, did it lift away from the mat? Gently imprint so you can feel some spine contact on the floor, but check that your knees remain over your hips, not too far away, but not too close in either. We're gonna keep the 90-degree bend at the knees. Take an inhale. As you exhale, we tap left toes down to the mat. Inhale, return tabletop, then we take it to the right. Exhale, tap, inhale to lift. Now ideally we maintain that 90-degree bend at the knee, but if you find you can't quite get to the floor without arching your back, bring the toes a little bit closer as you tap down. But if you find, yep, we're in control here, keep that angle as you tap. One side is non-moving as the other side reaches away. Now have your shoulders crept up away from the floor. Are you starting to really tense your upper body? Press those shoulder blades down. Focus on that stability from your lower abdominals. Focus on the breath. Exhale and inhale. Let's go for 6. Last 5. You've got 4. Slow and controlled wins the race. 3. Last 2. Last 1, find your tabletop. Let's lower one foot down followed by the other, just a little brief reprieve. Now we've got one final round to come here. You might like to come back to where we were before, otherwise we're gonna ramp things up a little for those who are up for it. So when you're ready, we're gonna take that left leg back to tabletop, pelvis nice and still, bring that right leg to meet it. If you'd like to come back to your singles, that is absolutely fine. If you're feeling in control, want more of a challenge, let's squeeze those legs together. Back stays nice and still. Inhale, prepare, exhale, both legs are gonna reach down for a tap and then draw them all the way back in. So we exhale, lower, and then we inhale, lift. Now in that first trimester of pregnancy, these exercises should, for most people, still be achievable. But if you're finding it really difficult to maintain that belly connection, take your single leg options, okay? Or if it's a subsequent pregnancy for you and you're feeling like perhaps abdominal separation is kicking into gear earlier than you anticipated, single leg options are definitely the best to stick with for you. All right, we've got 5 more, whichever option you've chosen. Let's go for 4, definitely getting the quivers here now. Squeeze those legs together. If you're taking the doubles, let's go 3. Last 2. Last one, draw those knees all the way back up. Let's lower one foot, then the other. Separate your feet nice and wide, wider than your hips. Take your arms to stop sign, so forearms to the mat, palms face up, and let's take a twist. Knees travel over to the right. Anchoring down through the opposite shoulder, you can turn your gaze to the left. And then knees travel through center over to the left as you look across to the right. Let's take one more twist each side. Knees to the right, gaze to the left, pressing that top knee down. And then last one, looking towards the right as your knees travel left. And then coming all the way back up through the middle. All right, now from here, guys, we're gonna take a roll onto your left side. So rolling over onto your left. Now stacking your shoulders and your hips here, you can rest your head on a bent or a straight arm, whatever's comfier for your shoulder, but just make sure you're not too scrunched, so open up that chest a little bit. Now we're gonna bring your knees forward, so they're in line with your hips, and your shins are in line with the edge of your mat. So we've got a 90-degree bend, knees and hips. Okay, relaxing that head down. Let's take that top hand to your hip and push it away. So create some space between your bottom waist and the mat there. Now that top leg, for the moment, we're gonna keep your heels glued together, and we're just gonna split the knees apart, lift that top knee, and then control lower it back down. So just that top leg, bottom leg doesn't change, and our heels stay together. Now with the shins forward in this position, you might not feel like you get a heap of range here, that's okay. We're just lifting that knee as high as you can without your pelvis rolling forward or back or cinching through your waist. Okay, so working through our hip rotators as we lift and then control lower. You're going to start to fire up all the muscles surrounding that hip joint in your pelvis. Moving with control, even pace as you lift and as you lower. Let's go 5 here. Last 3. Last one. Lower that leg down, now the whole shape, knee, shin, and ankle lifts and then comes down to connect. So whole shape, knee travels with the ankle, try not to lead with your foot. So just take a little peek, make sure they're moving together as one. And again, you're finding the height that you can achieve without rolling backwards. Should be feeling nice and warm in the outside of that hip now. You don't need heavy weight or resistance. But it's sometimes helpful to imagine that we're working against resistance here. So you can imagine you've got a band around those legs that you're stretching and then resisting that recoil on the down. Let's go 5 more. You've got 3. You can hear the breathing intensify behind me, so we're feeling it. On the next one, let's lift that leg up parallel to the floor, just hold it there. Okay, just relax your shin, let your foot go floppy. Now we're gonna straighten that leg all the way out so your heel ends are in line with your hip. We bend it back where it came from above the bottom leg, and again, repeat, extend away, and then draw it in. Now again, imagine there's resistance, so that air is thick and sticky. As you press your leg out long, stretch the knee, point the toe, and then draw it back in. I want you to think wide hips behind you as your knee bends. Okay, so we're not tucking under and narrowing, we're keeping them wide. Make your backside nice and big, be proud of it. Nice and strong as the knee comes in and reaches away. 5 here. Leg getting increasingly heavy, I know. Stay with it. 3 to go. Fatigue zone is where the magic happens. Last one, let's reach that leg all the way out straight. See if you can lengthen out through your waist a little bit more, maintaining that little peephole between waist and the mat, point that toe. We're gonna go little pulses up and down, emphasize the lift, not so much the lower. So we're not dropping below that start point. little lift. And that leg is straight in line with your hips. We're definitely feeling the outside and the back of the hip here, not so much the front. You've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Just hold that leg out nice and long. Reach that top arm up to the ceiling. Holding there, can you go a little bit higher? That's it, we're holding 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then bring that leg down. Good job. Just give it a bit of a rub outside that thigh and that hip. Now to sweep those feet slightly back behind you a little bit here, and let's just reach those arms out in front. Hands are connected, rest your head down to the mat. Now that top arm, we're gonna draw it across the bottom hand, the forearm, the upper arm, across your chest. Grab a hold of that right shoulder, open out your collarbones, and then extend that arm, look towards it as you reach the opposite side of the room. Now we're gonna keep that arm straight as the hand reaches up to the ceiling all the way to meet that left hand, then reach beyond it. So let that shoulder blade creep away, and then again, let's repeat, drag that hand across your arm, across your chest, grab the shoulder, open your ribs and your chest there, look towards the right and extend your arm all the way out, maybe traveling a little further this time through your torso. Straight arm comes up to the ceiling, reconnect those hands, reaching beyond again. Let that shoulder blade creep forward. Last time, drag across the bottom arm, across the chest. Deepest rotation yet, open the arm, gaze to the right. There we go, it's down the floor. Relax there for a moment. And then bring that arm all the way back to meet your left, excellent. And then from there, guys, we're gonna make our way up to your hands and knees. So shuffling around, you've got your hands underneath your shoulders here and your knees under your hips. And let's just take a cat stretch just to release for a sec. So take a breath in and let your belly hang down, gazing forward. Then we're gonna exhale, round the spine to the ceiling. Look to your belly as you spread the shoulder blades. And again, let's melt it down. Open up your chest, lift your gaze. And then rounding up like the harbour bridge. Let's go one more there. Chest sinks down. And then rounding, really lift up through that lower back. And then let's come to settle in that neutral spine. So find length through your upper back. And then again, just widen those sit bones behind you, okay? We have that tendency to grip, particularly as that pregnancy is starting to progress. So think, let it go, okay? Widen your sit bones, tailbone to the ceiling. Okay, now from here, nothing else changes. We're just gonna extend your right leg long, so the knee is straight, your toes are in contact with the mat. Okay, now did your body shift left? Try and find your center, hips square to the ground. We're gonna keep that right leg long as you float it up off the ground, engaging the back of the leg, and then lower down, tap, and repeat. So we lift that right leg and we lower. So now working very much the back of that right leg as we stabilize through the left. Now, you're going for some height through the leg, but only so high that you can avoid compromising your lower back position. So don't lift so high that you sag into that lower back, okay? Core stays connected, back stays still. Reaching long through that knee the whole time, so the calf, the hamstring, and the glute work together. Don't be surprised if your left side's firing up as well. It's working hard to stabilize you. Let's go 6. 5 more. 4 to go. Keep pressing up away from the mat. We're working hard through the shoulders as well. Last 2. Last one, let's lift that leg up high, hold it. Now ideally leg stays the same height. We're gonna sweep it out to the right a few inches, then draw it back through center. Sweep it out to the right, draw it back in. So it's like you're just gliding it across a tabletop surface. Outer hip works it out, inner thigh pulls it in. 6 here. Let's go 5. 4 more. 3. 2. Last one, find your parallel position, hold it. Now from here, we're gonna do a little combination. It's a little cat stretch with a knee tuck. I want you to round your spine as you bring your knee in towards your nose, scooping up through your belly, and then extend the leg all the way to parallel, find length through your spine. So let's take an exhale as you bring your knee in through center, and then inhale as you reach it away. The more you scoop, tuck, and lift, the better the abdominal connection here. You'll encourage some really nice movement through your spine at the same time. Just show that restraint as you extend away. We stay connected through your midsection. We don't sag into that lower back. We're gonna go 5 more here. 4 to go. Reach with energy every single time. Create more length. Last 2. Last one. Let's reach that leg all the way out. Now either just stay with that leg, or if you're feeling in control, you want a little challenge, we're gonna reach that left arm forward. So stabilizing on that right side, reach through the elbow and fingers, reach through your knee and toes, little pulses of that leg. If your arm is extended, add your arm, lift. Lift, this is the last part here. Push away from the mat, don't let that right elbow force forward. Turn the crease in. Let's go 8, 7, 6, stay with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, lift and hold. Reach it long for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower it down, great work. Let's open those knees out wide, bring your toes together. Sit your hips back and then just reach those arms away. Nice deep breath there. Expanding that chest and then letting it go, relaxing through your backside. All right, when you're ready, we're gonna make our way back onto those hands and knees. Grab a quick drink if you need it, shake it out. Okay, then when you're ready, hands back underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Now make sure those fingertips are facing forward. We're gonna shift that weight into your arms slightly, so try not to sit back into your hips. If anything, we're shifting slightly forward. Then from there, we're gonna bend your elbows. They wrap in towards your rib cage as you lower your chest down between your thumbs. You then push through the heels of your hands to lift. All right, so parallel position through the arms as you lower and as you lift. Your hips are up above your knees and your spine is in a reasonably consistent position as you lower and you lift. So you're really taking the load into your arms here. Think about your elbows being magnets that are drawn in towards each other the whole time. And look, we're all very different when we do this exercise, depending on the range of movement around our shoulders and the strength of those triceps. So if you feel like you've only got a micro bend in the elbows, that's absolutely fine if you're keeping that load in your arms, or you might be able to get that chest right down towards the mat, which I'm pretty sure, Katie, you'll be doing over there. All right, so let's inhale as we lower and then exhale as we lift. We're just gonna go for 6 more, guys. I know these are tough. 5 to go. You'll be so thankful for it after, I promise. You can always achieve more than you think. Let's go for 3. Last 2. We're gonna drop down on that last one and just hold it there. Shift the weight into your arms. Give me little pulses, not many. Just 6, 5, 4, 3. Wrap the elbows in. 2. Last one. Push all the way up. Amazing. Sit back again. Narrow with the knees or wide, your choice. And then reach those arms away. Deep breath, lengthen out through the elbows. Nicely done. All right, and then coming up from there, now we're gonna make our way back onto our back. So we're gonna swing ourselves around the other way. Okay, so gently making your way back down with your knees bent, your feet flat. Just take a second there to acclimatize to the floor. Check in that your feet are parallel, as are your knees, and we're gonna take those arms down by your side. Now just relaxing those shoulders, lengthen out the back of your neck, take a little rock side to side if you need to, tuck that chin. And let's come back to our pelvic tilts like we did to start. So allow that lower back to imprint, flatten into the mat, and then gently tip that pelvis forward, create space. No need to race, no need to brace. Just thinking about the bones of the pelvis, the spine, rocking forward and back. Incorporating a little breath here. Let's exhale as you allow your spine to imprint in an inhale to tip forward. And then when you're ready, we're gonna continue with your imprint with that exhale breath, and we're gonna roll those hips up into a bridge position, tucking that tailbone, lifting. You pause at the top for a nice big inhale, and then you exhale. Let's ripple and roll each vertebrae of that spine down bit by bit, all the way to that tilt forward of your pelvis at the bottom. So we exhale, roll those hips up, tucking at the top, inhale, Exhale, roll it down. Follow your own breath, okay? Moving slowly. You might not feel like the first bridge goes as high as you'd like it to. You should achieve a little bit more movement each repetition. Should feel nice to open up those hips, particularly after that core work before. Now again, continuing here with the arms down if you like, otherwise a little bit more challenge. Let's float those arms up to the ceiling, so palms facing in as you continue to roll those hips up and down. Encouraging that nice movement of your spine while activating the back of the legs and opening up through the front. Let's go for 4 more here before we meet at the top. Three to go. Remember, always following your own breath, your own pace. Last 2. Last one. Now let's meet with those hips up nice and high. Think about driving your knees forward in order to really open up through the front. Drive your heels into the floor, maintaining that height. Now, similarly to in our core work, difference this time is our tailbone is really tucked under. We're gonna find our knee folds. So we're gonna fold your right knee out to the right, draw it back up through center, left knee to the left. Draw it all the way back up. Now with your pelvis tucked under and in that elevated position, you might not feel like you go as far with your fold. That's absolutely fine. You only go as far as you can without shifting side to side. If you need to lower your hands, go for it. Otherwise, keep them up. And at any point, you can challenge yourself and add the opposite arm fold. So right knee folds right as the left arm travels left. Ideally hovers just off the mat before you lift it back up above your shoulder. Inhaling to open the limbs, exhaling to close. Now, no doubt feeling pretty warm through your backside here as you keep that elevated, tucked position. If at any point that back starts to ache, roll down, have a little knee hug, come back and join us when you're ready. Just make sure you don't overarch at the top. Let's go for 6. All the way up through center. And 5, no rush. 4 more. Last 3. And 2. Last 1. Find that center position, keeping those arms long if they're lifted, tucking that tailbone, driving your knees forward. From here, top range pulses of your hips up and up. So they're literally dropping ½ an inch. Emphasize the lift and lift. Knees are parallel, inner thighs active. Let's go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Maintain that bridge position. Can you float your arms all the way behind you? Find contact with the floor, elbows long, upper arms grounded. Keep them there as you slowly roll your spine all the way back down bit by bit by bit. Once that tailbone hits, bend your arms into your stop signs. Take your feet a little wider, and then we come back to our windscreen wipe. Knees travel left as your gaze rotates to the right. Pressing that top knee down, and then knees come up through center. They go to the right as we look left. Let's go 1 more twist each side, guys. Rotating that neck to the right as the legs go left. And then the last one over to the right as we look to the left. Bring those knees all the way back up through the middle, and then when you're ready, we're gonna roll over onto your right side. So flipping over onto your right side this time, you can support your head again on your right bicep. Bend or straight, your choice. We're gonna sweep your knees in front of your hips and your shins in line with the edge of your mat. So stacking those legs, left hand to hip, give it a shove. Remember, we're creating length through your waist, and send your tailbone back slightly, so widen your hips behind you. Okay, so we're gonna start by keeping your heels glued together. That top knee lifts, that top knee lowers. Okay, so feet glued, just focusing on the movement of that top leg now. Checking that you've set yourself up nicely, you've got length through your spine, we're not crunched in the fetal position there. We're keeping long through your waist. Now, second time round, when we come into our glute series, you'll always feel it quicker because this side's already done a fair amount of stabilizing, so don't be surprised. But you know you've done it before, you can do it again. Finding some height through that leg without, of course, rolling backwards. Let's go 6 here before we change it up. 4 more. And 3. Last 2. Last rotation, we drop the knee, the whole shape now lifts and lowers. So knee, shin and ankle. Just check that you're not really tense in that shin. Let your foot go floppy. Allow the hip to do the lion's share of the work here. Breathing as you go. Lift and control lower. You've got 6 more. And we're going to hold that leg high. In 4. And 3. Last 2. Okay, we lift the leg high, find your parallel position to the floor. Keep it the same height, extend it away, stretch long, and then draw it back in where it came from. So really stretch the knee, point the toe as you reach, widen your hips behind you as you bend. Okay, so pelvis doesn't tuck under, don't shy it away. Reach, and then draw it back in. Finding that length, opening the front of the hip, each and every time. That target is just beyond reach of those toes. See if you can get there. Let's go for 5. Holding that leg straight in. 4. And 3. Last 2. All right, let's extend that leg all the way out. Really reach through your toes and your knees. Lift the leg a little higher. Now let's go pulses from there, up and down, up and down. Emphasize the lift and lift for 8, 7, 6. Maybe reach that arm to the ceiling. 4, 3, hold in 2. Last one, hold that leg up nice and high. Should we quiver, quiver, quiver for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and bring that leg down. Well done, bottom. All right, now while we're on our side, guys, let's reach that arm out in front. Let's connect the palms, rest your head to the mat. Bottom hand stays where it is, guys. Let's glide that top hand across your bottom arm, across your chest, grab that left shoulder, apply a little extra pressure, and then extend the arm away as you look towards those fingers. Make sure that top knee hasn't crept away from the bottom. Straight arm glides to the ceiling, reconnect the palms, and then reach beyond. Let the shoulder blade creep forward, then let's drag across the arm again. Cross your chest. Use that shoulder pressure to open up. Extend the arm, look towards it, a little bit closer to the floor, or maybe you've hit the mat. Straight arm, reconnects at the hand, reach it forward. Lucky last there, dragging across, open the collarbones, the ribs, the lower back, and then arm extends away. Enjoy that stretch. Knees stay glued. And then closing the arm all the way back together, beautiful. And let's make our way back onto those hands and knees when you're ready. So hands beneath your shoulders, you've got knees underneath your hips. Let's just take one cat stretch there. So start by sinking down to the mat, gazing forward, broadening up that chest, lifting your gaze. And then round that spine all the way up towards the ceiling. Press those shoulder blades apart, lengthen your neck. And then let's come straight into that neutral. All right, so lengthen that spine, widen your hips. You can wag your tail a little bit just to let those glutes go for the moment. Settle into your neutral. Okay, when you're ready, pelvis stays nice and still as you extend your left leg. So point the toes, stretch the knee, toe stays in contact with the mat. Now, without anything else changing, your left leg floats up to a parallel position. You then lower, tap the toes back down, and then lift. So make any little adjustments you need to find your center. Okay, you want to imagine that there's a glass door just next to that right hip, and we don't want to knock it over. A glass vase is probably a better image there. All right, so the leg stays long and straight, and you're lifting. Go for some height, but again, not so high that we sag into that lower back. We want to stay connected through your core. So we're getting some synergy through the front and the back body. Lift, and then control lower. Second round through the arms gets tiring, especially after those triceps. So really make an effort to lift up between those shoulder blades. Let's go for 6 here. and 5. 4 to go. And 3. Last 2. Lifting that leg up nice and high, find parallel, find that length. We're going to keep it the same height, sweep it to the left, and then sweep it back through center. Gliding out, gliding in. Should be working hard, okay? Think strong, long leg, it's heavy. Inner thigh pulls the leg back in each time. Let's go for 6. And 5. 4 more. And 3. Last 2. Last 1. We find parallel hold. We have our combo, our cat stretch with knee tuck. So round your spine up as you bring your knee to your nose and then extend, find length through your leg. Exhale as you pull it in. Inhale, reach it away. The more you curl, the better connection through your belly, the better movement through your spine. Bring your knee closer and closer towards your nose each time. Really rounding up through your back as you pull it in. Reach it away. Nearly there, guys. Let's go 5. 4 more. And 3. Exaggerate that movement for 2. Last 1, extend it all the way out. Maybe just stay with that leg. If you're feeling up to it, reach that right arm forward long and strong. You've got little pulses of that leg up and down. See if you can add the arm lift and lift for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, lift and hold. And then lower the hand and knee back down. Good job. Take those knees wide, feet together. Whew. Sit those hips back and reach the arms away if you feel those inner thighs. So open up there. Nice deep breath. Expand the chest and then let it fall heavy. All right, when you're ready, coming up from there, we are so nearly done. We're going to finish off with the last little burst before we give those glutes decent stretch. So hands underneath those shoulders, guys, knees back underneath your hips. Let's curl your toes under, okay? So finding your neutral. Now, strong shoulders. We're gonna take a breath in. As you breathe out, let's draw that belly gently towards your spine. We're gonna hover your knees just up off the mat, and then we're gonna hold here. We're gonna breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower back down. Notice as you lift, your pelvis position doesn't change, okay? So try not to cat. Keep that neutral. And again, inhale, prepare. Exhale, find your hover. Knees 2 to 3 inches off the mat only. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly lower. After 1, thank you, Katie. Peter, when you're ready, guys, you got 3 more like that. Inhale, exhale, up you go. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. Just 2 to come. Little variation on the last round, guys. When you're ready, inhale, exhale, up you go. We're here. Wide sit bones, knees under hips for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bonus round to come, guys. Inhale. When you're ready, let's find that hover position. You might like to just hold it. Final challenge for today. We find a tap and a lift. A tap and a lift, just for 8. Stay with that pace. 7. Breathe for 6. Press away from the mat. 5. Last 4. 3. It's nearly over. Last 2. Zip up that belly. Last 1. Find that hold for 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We made it. Drop it down. Awesome. Final child's pose there, guys. Sit those hips back. Reach those arms away. Nice deep breath. And then from there, we're actually gonna make our way up and take a seat on your bottom. So sweep those legs forward. Finishing off, just a little bit of a glute stretch here. Let's take your hands behind your body. The left foot stays down on the mat. We're just gonna cross your right foot over that left knee and then let those hips settle back down. Now try not to slump into those shoulders. Really lift that chest up proud. Press your right knee away from you, so open up. through that right side. That might be plenty. Stretch through your right hip. Otherwise, take a little twist. Take those knees over towards the left, and you might find that stretch deepen a little bit on that right side. Keep lifting your chest and pressing that knee away. Opening up through the collarbones. If you've had enough on your wrist, you can always sit down onto a chair while you do this. Figure 4 stretch, folding your chest slightly forward. Breathing there. But you already feel better than when you started, especially if you thought, I don't know if I've got this in today. Once you get going, it's always a lot easier. All right, bringing those knees back through center, release that right foot. Let's place left foot over the right. Okay, you can crawl that foot in towards you a little bit, press that left knee away, lift your chest. Might be plenty for me, I already feel a pretty big stretch on this side. Maybe make it a little more intense by taking those knees over towards the right. Staying active through the shoulders to the very end. Breathing there. And then bringing those knees back through center, releasing that foot, shaking out those wrists, giving those shoulders a roll, and give yourselves a clap. Thanks for joining us today, guys. Well done.